What is FluxGym and what's it for? Well, have you ever wanted to create an AI image with your face or maybe with a specific actor, like a famous person? If you've wanted to do this perfectly and really well, right? Maybe it works with a famous actor, but not with your face because you're probably not famous. Well, this is how you can create these AI images with your own face and appearance. I'll explain how. Basically, we'll use FluxGym to train a LoRa for fluke.com, okay? What's LoRa for? For those who don't know what LoRa is, it's a way to train a model which is then given to the AI so it can use and understand it to create images with our face. It's like breaking down how to generate an image of our face. We need to provide various images from different angles and follow steps you can see in our full tutorial on what FluxGym is on our channel. This way, you can make those images you're looking for with your face using artificial intelligence. Let's see how to run our LoRa in Forge after creating our own model, shall we? I should mention that Forge within Pinocchio is currently having issues and can't load images. Hopefully they'll fix it soon, but I'll show you how you can still use the LoRa model you've created to generate images. It's quite simple. First, you'll open the app and you'll see various options here. The basic step is to select Flux. Ideally, choose FluxDev NF4 v2, but if unavailable, use the default normal option. If you want to install the version I have, stop the terminal, select both load models, and download the model I mentioned. Continuing with the model, if you have low Uber RAM, change this section from automatic to manual, use FP16 LoRa for better performance, and set location to CPU. Keep this the same and lower this setting that appears up here to a level that works for your PC to avoid crashes like I've experienced. Next, write the prompt for your LoRa. Remember to write the LoRa prompt. Go to your files where you saved the LoRa name. Take the name you've given it to instruct the program. Come here. Enter the name and the instructions or text and specify the action you want, etc. Finally, to generate the image, go to the LoRa section, select your LoRa and generate. Note that I can't do it now or I'll get a blue screen, but once it's fixed, you can use your LoRa perfectly. How can we get FluxGym? First, let's go to Chrome and search for Pinocchio.computer. On this site, we're going to get Pinocchio, a tool that'll make it easier to obtain FluxGym. We'll go to the blue section and choose the version we need, Windows, Mac or Linux. After downloading, we'll get a RAR file and extract the program. When you open Pinocchio, you should see a screen like this, but without any apps as I have now. We'll go to the Discover section, which might already be open in your case. In Discover, search for FluxGym, click on it and then click the blue button. Here you'll automatically get the program. It'll compile the code on your computer without you having to do anything. You don't need to complicate things, just open Pinocchio and start the program when you want to use it. Also, we'll do the same process for Forge. Download Forge, which will run Flux so we can later check if the image training worked well. We'll also get Forge and then we can take AI generated photos easily through Pinocchio. This way you can get Flux very simply. How can you train your own LoRa? Well, we'll continue using FluxGen and we'll start by uploading the images first. Regarding the images, it's important to note that ideally you should have at least 10 images and they must be of the same person, right? You want to train LoRa to generate images of that person from different angles with various poses and facial expressions, correct? I'm using 6 images for this tutorial, but ideally you'd want at least 10, okay? Also, you need at least 12 GB of RAM. Don't worry, any GPU from a 1070 up should work fine. Okay, I've opened these 6 images here, showing the same girl from different angles, front and side poses, with and without a helmet, etc. Now let's start setting up the LoRa. First, we need to give our LoRa a name, right? Then what we're going to do is go to the trigger word section, and this will be the word we'll use to refer to the LoRa we've trained when talking to Flux, for example. When we talk to Flux, we'll use this trigger word so it understands we're talking about this person. So I don't recommend using the same name as the LoRa above, and also avoid using a generic name, okay? Don't just use girl. Use something more specific for better understanding. After naming it, the next step will be to choose the base model. I recommend FluxDev. It's incredible. We also used it in the tutorial we did before with Confio II. There we used FluxDev as the base and we'll select the VRAM based on what we have and can support. Here in this section, basically, if the LoRa isn't working well, we could increase these two parameters to see if it improves, if it's not functioning as we wanted. Also, we'll set how many training steps we want it to do, right? I'll put 300 or even 350. This is the site database. I'd leave this as is. Here, what we can do is, if we want to monitor while it's training the model, see how it's going, and if it's working as desired, we can input different prompts to generate images doing those specific activities, okay? For example, as you can see, I've already input the sentences. It's important to note, use English and separate each sentence with a line break. Put each sentence on a new line like I did here. Now we can finally hit start to train this LoRa. But note that for more specific or complicated cases where it might not understand well what are you trying to train, you can add brief descriptions to each photo to help me understand them better. Finally, we'd click on Start Training. Now, as you can see, we'd go to the terminal section where it shows the percentage of how the model's training is progressing. Finally, I would have trained the LoRa model. Now we need to go to Files, click View Folder, then inside click on FluxGym.hit, then on Outputs. As you can see, here we have the folder Chica Tutorial, which is the LoRa model we've trained. We can go inside and here we'd have everything related to the training. We'd also have the sample prompts train we did earlier. For some reason, I don't know, it hasn't done it, but anyway, the next step would be to go to Forge and verify that the training has worked successfully.